Hey everybody, welcome to Marketing Monday. I'm so glad you guys are here. And today we have a fire one for you. Bill will be joining us in just a second, but I want to kick us off and get us started because there's a lot of misconception when it comes to Facebook ads or ads in general, marketing in general. And everyone thinks that ads don't work, right? That's the common saying we hear all the time. Facebook ads don't work. They don't create bookings. But the problem is you're targeting the wrong person. You're targeting them at the wrong time in their buyer's journey. And so a lot of people think what happens with marketing in general is I pay Facebook some money, they show my ad, those people see the ad, and then that's when conversion happens. But Bill, it's just not that simple, right? People just think I'm going to show an ad, I'm going to turn it on, and then I'm just get this flood of bookings that are going to come in automatically because the millions and millions of people all want to book my property, and my ad's going to convert like 100% of the time.
No, that never happens because, and one of the reasons it never happens is because they're treating their traffic the wrong way, right? And I don't know if you've introduced them to cold, warm, and hot traffic yet, but the cold, warm, and hot traffic is the most important thing that you guys need to understand from a marketing perspective. The most important component here, and this is applicable to organic social media. It's applicable to email marketing. It's applicable to over-the-phone sales. It's applicable to ads on Facebook ads. It's one of the reasons that the majority of your ads fail. So there was a gentleman that posted over the weekend, Chris, I don't know if you saw it in the Build Short-Term Rental Facebook group. I think he's from Orlando. Jerry, I think was his name. And he said, hey, I went to Bill's boot camp and I learned how to do Facebook ads. And my Facebook ads, I've had like 750 people hit my landing page and nobody has booked. You know, what does Facebook ads not work? Does Bill suck at teaching? He didn't say that. Or, you know, what's the issue? And then I said, hey, we need some more data. But then he didn't show me the ad, right? That's the big thing. So what you really have to understand is if you're going to deploy Facebook ads for the first time, you're targeting people that don't know who you are. They don't know who you are. They don't know what your property is. They've never seen an ad. They've never clicked to your Airbnb link, your direct booking link. That's cold traffic. There's zero relationship. They've never heard of you before. How many times have you seen something that's cool on Instagram scrolling through or Facebook and you don't buy it, but you might stop and you might watch a video for 10 seconds. Now when you do that, you've gone from cold to slightly lukewarm. But when you see that ad again and you're like, oh my gosh, it's a different ad and this is cool. And you know what? I need that new, you see all the Amazon things on Chris, right? On Instagram, right? And it's like, oh my God, I need that poof in my family room at my STR, but you don't buy it the second time. But you do click to the website and then you go through and you look at in their personal Amazon web store, like what Bree and I have, and you look through it and then you find some other stuff. Now you're actually getting warmed up a little bit, right? Then you see that ad again and it's like, hey, on sale for 10% off, because now you've gone from cold, they've warmed you up, you've been to their website, you've seen it, you've consumed multiple pieces of content, and then they hit you with, and it's probably a retargeting off of that page, buy now, 10% off, only valid today. Then you go and you buy. Now you've transitioned. It's what we call the credit card, getting a piece of your wallet. Once you've paid, now you become hot traffic. Now you have just become 7 to 10 times easier to sell to because you've already pulled out the credit card and we've had a transaction. So if I go all the way back to the beginning, and I want you guys to think about this, when was the last time that you saw a billboard, heard a radio commercial, saw a television commercial, saw something scroll through your Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok feed, had never heard of it before, and decided to buy immediately based on that first experience? Almost never. You have to earn trust. That's one of the reasons, and this guy, Jerry, I think was his name, he was driving 100% of all of his traffic, Chris, to his direct booking sales page. And he said, hey, I copied your page out of Market My STR. I'm doing all the things that you tell me. Well, Jerry missed the critical component of warming up that cold traffic first. And one of the biggest trust agents, this is a huge term, trust agent, is Airbnb and Vrbo. You cannot send all of your traffic to your direct booking website. Whoever is telling you that is fucking wrong, 100%. I can't emphasize that enough. They're fucking wrong because we have to warm them up. There are way too many people that are skeptical of us that are using our direct booking links. It's why when I teach you to do this, you send literally $1 a day to Airbnb, $1 a day to Vrbo, $1 a day to your direct booking site, and you're targeting the same people. You can put inside your listing, even if you have a direct booking site verified by Airbnb, and have your Airbnb link so they can go and check you out. That's the trust agent. When you're doing the buy, sell, trade group strategy, a lot of you don't execute it correctly. You're literally putting your link in and it's populating the slug. You're not putting in your top 10 images, and you're not including all 3 links: Airbnb, Vrbo, direct booking. I'm an Airbnb guy. When I book for my mastermind meetings, which is usually the only time, actually, Bria and when we went to Banff, Chris, we stayed literally as a family in an Airbnb for the second time ever. And then we have one of our members booked to go to 30A for fall break. That'll only be the 3rd time. So I've only stayed in Airbnbs twice out with my family. Usually it is just when we're booking mastermind, like mega places, like the 2 biggest places in, Deer Valley, or we booked the 2 biggest places in Orlando a while back. Sometimes we have to go to Vrbo because they typically happen to have bigger places. But you heard what I just said. Sometimes I have to go to Vrbo. I don't like the UX of Vrbo, so I only use Airbnb because of the app user experience for me, unless I'm forced to go to Vrbo. And never, ever have I booked direct. And the reason I have not booked direct for any of those is when I'm spending $10,000 to $25,000 for these mega mansions to book for 3, 4, 5 days, it's because I want the protection and the recourse that we all hate from Airbnb. That's one of the reasons I migrate as a customer to Airbnb. So it's our responsibility as marketers. And I know many of you will say, it's the old Ken Carter-ism, Chris. If you remember, one of my dear friends who passed away, who was one of my best students and clients over the years, he said, you know what? I signed up to be a business owner. I didn't sign up to become a marketer. I didn't sign up to become a sales guy. Well, that folks, that is what owning a business is sales and marketing. So just like if you've ever been sold a car back in the day, you walk on the lot, they swarm who's the first person to be able to get to you. Then they start trying to build rapport with you. They educate you on the vehicle. Then when you're actually ready to, they test drive, they ride, so you get to drive, they ride in the the passenger seat. Then they walk you inside. That's when the real sales starts happening. That's where they're trying to sell you the undercoating for $1,000. They're trying to sell you the $2,500 extended warranty. They send you back to the financial department, but they had to warm you up first to get you there. Every single thing that we see, it's why if anybody's ever driven to Las Vegas before on the West Coast, go from Bakersfield or Los Angeles through Barstow, and then it's billboard after billboard after billboard. We need multiple touch points. So you never, ever should send your traffic, your cold traffic, to your direct booking site. On the rare occasion, you'll get somebody to buy from you. And I get, because I've been a marketer for my entire adult life, you can't track the measurement of the conversions on Airbnb and Vrbo. But at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. You're not spending enough money to make that significant when you're talking about a maximum of $5 a day. That's $150 a month. Even if you have $150 a night ADR and you're doing $5,000 a month in revenue, $150 a month is insignificant. If you do it right, it works. We don't need to track all of those conversions. And this is things that rookie marketers, oh my God, I got to track this for my ROI. The only reason you need to track it is like the conversation that Chris and I had with one of our marketing partners about an hour ago, where I tell her I'm going to start this campaign at like $3,500 to $5,000 a month. But my goal is to get to 25,000 as quickly as I can. Then I need to be tracking. I'm not talking about marketing my properties. I'm talking about marketing something else, right? You need to fully understand cold traffic. Those people have no relationship with you. You've got to earn the right to be able to sell them to something. That's why I want you guys to start with lead magnets. That's why I want you to start with educational material. That's why I want you to send them to Airbnb and Vrbo first. That is the trust agent, the verification that we need. Then you can earn the right to send them to the direct booking site. Cold, warm, hot. 3 stages, just like the awareness stage, the discovery stage, and the decision-making stage of the funnel, right? And that's what it is. And when you look at the temperature out here, this is all the awareness. So the other thing that becomes super important when you're in that blue zone, the cold traffic zone, you really need to think about it. And if you're targeting your top 5 cities, the other thing with Jerry is he was targeting, Chris, I can't remember where his property was, but he was targeting wealthy, windy women within 2 to 3 hours of his place, right? So in 99.9% of the municipalities or cities or locations that property would be located in, that's not where his buyers are going to live. They're going to be farther away. You got to look at the top 5 cities at a minimum, top 3 bare minimum. And if you don't know where they're at from booking history, then you can go to Google Trends and see that. And then really we just want to educate. Hey, and let's just say that we're going to market into Broken Bow. So if you're going to Broken Bow, Oklahoma, I'm targeting Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm targeting Oklahoma City. I'm targeting Dallas. I'm targeting Fort Worth. And I might target, hey, the top 7 things or the top 6 things. I never use the number 1, the number 3, the number 5, or number 10, number 20. I use odd numbers. Top 6 things that only the locals know about, or top coolest things locals do on the weekends. Top 6 things to be a local in Broken Bow. And then I would literally spend $1 a day for Facebook ads to warm up, let's just say all of Dallas and Fort Worth. Then I let that run for like 2 weeks. That's $14. $14. That backwards? This way. $14. It's always backwards on the screen. $14. That's all you're spending in ads to warm up that audience. Then you come back in with the link to your property and say, hey, want to become a local in Broken Bow? Check out this property when you go to visit to do this, this, and this, right? That's tying in the warm up, the cold traffic to the warm traffic. Then you retarget them. You can't just run one ad. I tell you to run 5 ads in your ad set when you first start. Then use dynamic creative and let Facebook choose the winning copy, the winning creative, the winning image, the winning headline. And they'll mash them all together, just like Taylor Swift does with her secret song. She's doing mashups. She's mashing them all together, and they will create the strongest ad. Then you take that $5 budget over 5 ads, and you put it all together with one ad. But you got to warm it up first. So $14 spend on the front end, warm them up with a free lead magnet. And then the cool thing is they have to give you the email address if you want to download that, right? So now you're building your custom audience. This is at the very remedial way how you do that. Now, lead magnet, warm them up 14 days, then use dynamic creative inside Facebook, let it build your super ad, your super property ad. Then make sure you have at least 2 retargeting ads behind that. And typically those should be videos from you as the owner of the property. There's nothing more powerful. Hey, I saw that you just saw Sunset Point down at Smith Lake. My name's Bill. I'm actually the owner of the property. And I just wanted to introduce myself and my lovely wife, Bria, who's standing next to me, because we're going to take care of everything to ensure you have a 5-star experience. You need a boat. We'll tell you the best place to rent a boat, jet skis, best fishing spots, places to get food delivered, private chefs, whatever you need. We're here 24/7 to serve you. And this is our family home. So you're going to feel like family when you're staying with us. Just something super simple like that. That's the retargeting, because you're doing something which comes straight out of my back pocket. This is my secret sauce, folks, is taking those 2 extra steps and doing the shit that everybody else is too fucking lazy to do. That's how you win. Doing the stuff that everybody else is too lazy to do. That's how I win. Chris is nodding his head. He knows fucking A right. I do stupid stuff like that nobody else is willing to do. All of you guys, oh my God, Bill, why? How you put your phone number on Instagram? You put your phone number? You got 30,000 people plus in this group. You give out your phone number? Yes. Because 99.97% of you are never going to use it. But those 0.03% that do, they just went from cold to super warm, super quick. That's why I do this video to my guests when they book, right? So I'm following this same thing I'm just rambled on for 13 minutes with you for in every facet of my life. That's how I get to the top performance. Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, the 2 hardest workers in the history of the NBA. 2 of the best players in the history of the NBA. Tiger Woods, hardest worker in the history of golf. Best player of all time. Work and doing the things that everybody else is too fucking lazy to do is synonymous with why people ascend to be at the very, very top of their game. Doing what I just shared with you correctly is the difference between cutting corners and putting in that extra effort. I'm talking a minimum of 7 ads, 7, Chris, right?
Mhm.
5 in your first ad set and a minimum of 2 retargeting. Typically, we will run 3 retargeting ads. 2 should be running right off of your ad set, and then you should probably be retargeting at least with 1 more, really 2 or 3, when somebody hits your page, your direct booking page, and they don't buy from you. Because nobody's ready to buy. It's the same thing. You're not going to buy off that first ad, that first scroll through Instagram, TikTok, whatever. It's going to take multiple touch points. Well, when you go to that direct booking page, your customers probably aren't ready to buy the first time they see that either. So we need to follow up with them. That's where the retargeting becomes important. So you're really talking a minimum of 7 to 8 ads to do it effectively. Jerry, you got off to a tremendous start, buddy. You did, but you got like 70% of the way there. We need that other 30% to really become effective. Jerry, now I think he said he had like 750 people roughly hit his sales page, but there's no retargeting. That's why he hasn't got a booking. That retargeting is what's going to bring people back, to generate the bookings.
Yeah, people don't understand there's a difference. When I'm on Airbnb and actually searching actively for a property, I'm in the booking mindset. I'm looking to book, I'm thinking about properties and thinking about vacation. But when I'm on Facebook scrolling, that may not be my mindset at all. I may not even be necessarily planning a vacation at the moment. So that's why the retargeting is so important, to get me your ad back in front of that person again and again and again. In the same way that, the random thing you see on Instagram, you're like, oh, that's really cool, but you don't buy it the first time. And maybe the second time you watch the video, and the third time you click the link, and the fourth time you add it to cart but don't purchase it. And the fifth time oh yeah, I still have that thing in my cart. And the sixth time they send you an email because it's been in your cart for a week and you haven't purchased it yet. That's what it takes to convert someone from cold traffic all the way to actually making a purchase. But I do want to take a second and flip things the other way around, because we talked a lot about the cold side. But I think, going back to your 2 extra steps, Bill, I think people underestimate the other direction. That's why the email marketing side of things like the 200-day funnel are so important, because you're leaving money on the table if you aren't also looking at the hot traffic and how it's different from the cold traffic, and getting back in front of the people who've previously stayed with you before, whether it is showing them ads by using a custom audience, or using the lookalike audience to create a brand new lookalike from people who previously stay with you, or just emailing them so that you're top of mind when the next time they're thinking about, man, you know what, that spot was really cool, I had a great time at that home, and they're ready to book their next vacation. That's the place they think about. And it's not just some other thing. You don't even give them the chance to look. You're already in their email inbox waiting for them when they're ready to actually make that choice.
That's the beautiful part about having multiple properties, as to where, I can have somebody stay at the beach and introduce them to Banner Elk. And then when they like Banner Elk, hey, you want to get the real outdoor mountain experience? Come check me out at one of my 3 properties in Montana. Want to go to Arizona, want to go to the lake, whatever it is. That's the indoctrination. That's the funnelization, right? So it's really the email sequence is the retargeting video from Facebook, right, Chris? So you got to have that multiple touch points. That's how you're going to take your portfolio to the next level. Let's see. Sai, I can attest to the fact that your targeting worked on me. Bill, ask me how. How, Sai? How did it work? Chris, send him the link so Sai can jump in and join us live here. Lynn Gross, I must have missed it. How do you know who to target directly with a video? So Lynn, it's really simple. You should be tracking in your PMS where your guests are from. If you don't have that capability, if you're just on Airbnb or Vrbo, then go to Google Trends and type in, visitors to your city, and it'll give you the top locations that people live in. So like my Gulf Shores properties are the easiest ones to use. In Gulf Shores, I target Dallas, St. Louis, Indianapolis, Chicago, and Nashville. Those are my 5 cities. In Banner Elk, North Carolina, I'm targeting Nashville, Chattanooga, Atlanta, Raleigh, Charlotte, Roanoke, places like that are in the geographic area that are going to be driving to come into that property. At my lake properties, I strategically picked the lake. If you saw that big 38-person mansion that I just built, I've got 2 properties there, 5 bedroom and now a 12 bedroom. And I strategically targeted that lake in early 2020 when I went down there for my first property on that lake, because it's 2 hours south of Nashville. It's clean. Chris has been there many times. It's a super clean lake. It's better than the other lakes that surround Nashville and Memphis. And it's 45 to 50 minutes from Birmingham, Alabama. So I target the wealthy areas of Nashville, the wealthy areas of Memphis, and the wealthy areas of Birmingham, and then all of Mississippi, because all they have is mud baths to swim in, is lakes in Mississippi, right? And I market the clear water of Smith Lake because it's all rocks. So you got to target the cities, the top cities that your guests are traveling from, Lynn, is what you're really trying to target. Treasures in Heaven Property Management. Who creates the ad? You create the ad. If you don't know how to create an ad, then we have a Facebook course. Chris can drop in the link. This walks you through everything that you need to know, specifically for short-term rental marketing. This isn't like, oh, this is for plumbers and HVACs. This is specifically for you guys on how to create your content, write your copy, set it up in Facebook, do your targeting, set up retargeting. We broke it down, to where it's super easy to where you can just follow the steps. But you're the one that needs to create the ad. It's really simple. You write copy, you write your value propositions, you write a headline, you create some images in Canva or do a video, and then you just need to learn how to set it up and optimize and track the metrics on the back end. And Chris does the majority of the teaching in this. Him and I are sitting side by side in this course. It's extremely valuable and extremely low cost to get you up and running quickly. Is there an automated way of creating ads? There's really not an automated way of creating ads, and if there was, they would suck. So I probably would not recommend that. What else do you have to add, Chris? By the way, we need to start working on a Zen water. This is 7.5 pH alkaline water, Zen water. I've been drinking for about a year and a half now. I used to try to get a Diet Coke endorsement, but now we need a Zen water endorsement. I'm drinking about 6 to 7 of these bad boys every day. By the way, I have not had caffeine now for 59 days. Day 60 tomorrow.
I think I really want to hammer home the retargeting portion because it's the place that people leave out every time. That they start the ads, they get the ads up and running, and then they just leave off like, oh yeah, I need to retarget. They don't even think about it through the process. But I think honestly, the retargeting is some of the most important because people don't realize that it's not just retargeting doesn't just happen based on the traffic that comes from an ad. Retargeting happens based on wherever anyone comes, as long as they land on that landing page. So if you're using buy, sell, trade groups, if you're posting in local groups, if you're just sending your link to some friends that have it and they share it with their friends, that retargeting still works. It will still show to those people inside of Facebook. That's the step that most people miss, and that's the step that allows you to get back in front of them, because Facebook isn't like when I'm on Airbnb or Vrbo and I'm actively looking for a property. Facebook is serving me an ad when I'm sitting, when I wake up in the morning, I'm scrolling before I get out of bed. It's sitting when, I have 5 minutes between a call and I'm scrolling between stuff. It's sitting when I'm watching TV, but not actually watching TV and scrolling through Facebook instead. That's when you get served ads. And because of that, you want to keep getting back in front of people over and over and over again so that the ad hits them at the time where they're actually thinking about or considering or wanting to look at a property. You have to break through the wall of it's not them actively looking, it's you serving them. And because of that, you want to keep getting in front of them so they're actually able to see and take action. And it's not just something that they scroll past because they weren't ready in the moment to take action when the ad came to them.
Yeah, I think the other kind of technical thing for people to understand is you need to spend 20 to 25% of your total budget on retargeting ads. So if you're spending $1, 80% should be going to your primary ad set, and then 20 to 25% the balance should be going to retargeting. And if you're not spending that extra 20, 25% on retargeting, your ads most likely are not going to be effective, right? So it's super important that you do that. It's just like if you go spend 100% of your income, you're not going to have any retirement. You need to save 20, 30% of your income and invest it. Or you will have no retirement at the end of the rainbow. It's the exact same thing as we're talking about this here. So if you can nail the retargeting and really understand cold, warm, and hot traffic, and that you can't expect conversion out of cold traffic, and that when you first start doing this, nobody knows who you are. Mm-hmm. And then the goal is to reach more and more people. So you always need to be in the mindset that, hey, I need to continue to expand my reach to create more opportunity. And those people just are not going to be ready to buy from me. Hopefully down the road, 5 weeks, 5 months, or a year or so, they will be ready to purchase. And I think you bring up a great point, Chris, to really let everybody to really understand and take note that we're not able to, Google Ads as an example, is when somebody is actively searching for something. Facebook ads is not. And Google ads, unfortunately, are so expensive now, especially for what we're trying to compete with in our markets and our geo areas. It's very challenging to really try to make that work. So Facebook ads is the best option based on the cost, on a per click or a per, view component. Yeah, Chris, I'll let you explain it this time.
Yep. Cold traffic is people who basically don't know anything about you, or you can also take it as don't know necessarily about you as a solution. That's people who don't know of you and never stayed at your property before, don't even know your property exists. And usually that's referred to when we're reaching the largest audience possible, doing something like Facebook ads, because you're reaching hundreds of thousands or even millions of people that don't know anything at all about you. Warm is when they've had some kind of interaction with you. The best example of warm traffic is actually people who have stayed with you that weren't the actual booker. So they didn't put any money down, but they actually had some type of interaction with you. That's an incredible example of warm traffic. But they're the in-between. They haven't made the purchase yet, but they've at least know of you. They know of you as a solution. They've seen you around. And then hot traffic is people that have previously stayed with you. They've opened their wallet, paid some money. There's a transaction involved. And those are, as the narrows down, it's very much like a funnel. There's a whole lot less hot people than there are warm, and less warm than there are cold. Actually, there's a mountain of cold people. There's a whole world full of cold people. But your goal is to try and warm them up as much as possible, because the more people you warm up turns into more hot, and the more hot you have, that's more people that are, well, more money in your wallet, because those are people that actually booked for you. So as you break it down and go through it, that's how you kind of separate the traffics. And then knowing who you're speaking to is how you can speak to them. So you would speak to someone who previously stayed with you different than you would speak to someone who's never stayed with you at all. Or the warm ones, if you have like StayFi, for example, and you're able to target previous people who've stayed with you but weren't the actual booker, you can speak to them in a different way as well, because they've had the experience of your property but not the never had a financial transaction. So they're perfect traffic to be able to target and not spend as much money, but still reach people who are highly qualified.
Agreed. 1,000%.
I want to hit this one up. Do you recommend using Facebook ads for co-hosting clients?
100%.
And yeah, 1,000%. And there's, we mentioned two things. I also don't want, well, three things today. If you're going to take away from today, I want you to really, really remember retargeting, meaning showing ads to people who have taken an action, like watch the percentage of a video or visit a landing page. Custom audiences, which is I'm able to upload an email list into Facebook and then show an ad just to those people.
Let's talk about that one for a second, Chris,
yeah,
in regards to co-hosting lead generation, because Helen, one of the biggest things, the biggest advantages that you can have is that custom audience.
Mm-hmm.
So you go to Fiverr.com or you go to Upwork.com and you type in skip tracing. And you hire somebody to go in and target, let's just say that you're going to target the broken bow market, and tell them to target, 4 bedrooms and up, or, target 4.7 and under, review scores, right? And you have them skip trace those people and get you, if they can get you 100 onto a list, then you can drop that custom audience into Facebook and not only target those owners, but Facebook will duplicate those owners all the way up to a 99% match, to where you can find more of those owners all over the country. And if you follow the cold, warm, hot content model, that's how you're going to acquire customers the fastest. And believe me, everybody is being trained by all these, shitty salespeople and that are trying to sell co-hosting, training and stuff on to do skip tracing and send the direct mail piece and just target Vacasa, owners and that type of stuff. And you can go in and target Vacasa owners, and I think that's great, but they're not teaching you how to really get people into your lead flow and into your funnel, and then to go in and to sell them and get them closed. Mm-hmm. So one of the most important components here, Helen, and I go over this in my co-hosting masterclass in depth, is I actually have never skip traced. I just become the person of interest. Mm-hmm. So select one market. Don't try to do this all over the country. You could be in Cape San Blast or, Kissimmee or whatever, and understand that when I look at like Orlando as an example, you've got Kissimmee and you've got Kissimmee condos as a market that I consider, and then Kissimmee single family homes. And then you've got like the Davenport market, and you've got the, oh shit, I just lost the name of it. What's the name of the golf course community down there, Chris? The nice one. Ledbetter used to be there. Something Gate.
Westgate?
You got Westgate. There's another one that's nicer than that. But anyways, those are all submarkets, right? So like if I was doing this, and I'd like to use Gulf Shores as the example, because you have basically Orange Beach, you've got East Beach, West Beach, and Fort Morgan, the 4 submarkets. I would just be in West Beach because if I'm targeting, because I already own there. And the other thing, if you guys look, you guys should all go to my Instagram. My Instagram handle is right here, BillFace73, and look at my story from this morning that I post. I think I've only posted one story today. The targeting of who you really want to acquire as a client co-hosting into your portfolio is critical. I literally shared one booking and I circled red around the co-hosting payout. And it's more money than most of you make in a month or a quarter co-hosting because you're taking on the wrong clients because you don't know how to target them. And most importantly, you don't become the person of interest. So you'll see I got paid $4,000 for one booking. And that's consistently for that property every week of the summer, right? So do that math. That means I'm going to make between 40 to 60 grand just between Memorial Day and Labor Day off of one property. And I've got 2 of those almost side by side, right? So I'm making literally between $8,000 to $10,000 a week off of those 2 properties during the summer. That's because it's very intentional on how I've built every one of my businesses. It's about building super products, super services, super properties, right? So I go in and I target one market, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to dominate that market. And this is exactly what you guys should do, because I have not had to do this. You join the local Facebook groups and then you start educating them, just like I educate you guys here. And then you go in and you say, hey, next Tuesday, I'm going to do this free Zoom meeting for anybody that wants to learn how to do these 3 things to make more money, spend less time, get better clients and your customers, better guests into your properties. And it's 100% free. Then you go and you drop and you educate them on how to do revenue management, marketing, listing optimization, whatever your skill set is, for 30 minutes. You can get a free Zoom. I think it's for 40 minutes, Chris, right? And then at the end, you take 10 minutes of questions and just answer their questions. And the last questions, did you say, hey, it looks like we've got about 2 minutes left. Any last minute questions? And Tom, Dick, Harry, Laura, Angie, and Megan are going to say, hey, if you get 10 people on that call, you will have 2 to 3 that say, hey, Bill, I can't do that stuff. I don't have time. I don't want to learn how to do it. Would you do this for me? Oh, well, as a matter of fact, I do offer that service. Let's schedule a call. Here's my calendar. Book a call right now for next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Now you've got them offline qualified. They've gone from cold to extremely warm. They're sales qualified leads. You just presented them with 30 minutes of value, and they're essentially ready for you to close. If you have your proposal ready, if you have your contract ready to deliver, while you're on that call, you can do a 1-call close with them because you've already created so much value for them. Forget about fucking skip tracing and the direct mails and all that bullshit. This is how you become the person of interest to where people come to you. Exactly what we're doing right here every single Monday. Why I have 2 podcasts. Why I send you guys value-driven emails. Why I have Superhost Sunday. Why I do free events, live events. Why I'm doing my boot camps in Orlando, New York, and the Smokies for only $100. I want to do them for free, but the problem is then about 25% of you will no-show, and then I have 25, 30, 40, 50 seats that are left empty, and people wanted to be there, but it's sold out. So $100 is the minimal amount skin in the game. It has nothing to do with profit. It has everything to do with I just want to fill the room and help people. Then you know what? If I do a good enough job, you guys will come to me and say, hey, how do I work with you further? It's the exact same premise of what you guys need to be doing as a co-host. It's super easy. But here's the difference between what I'm teaching you right now and doing the skip tracing and I call it the wholesaling sales methodology is you have to continue to do that. You're creating no value, 0 value for your prospect. When you teach them and educate them and give them 30 minutes of your time and drive value and over deliver based on what they thought they were going to be able to get, that's when they become trustworthy. You become trustworthy for them. They are learning that you can do this better than them. And when they believe that you can do this better than them and they don't have the time or the desire or the want or the need, they're going to want you to do it for them. I can't tell you how many people have followed this and they're blown away when they need to make money quickly and they've got $1,000 or $1,500 setup, fee to set everything up. And then they're going to charge their 20%. Like, oh my gosh, I just did, you know who I'm talking about here, right? Chris from when we were Mastermind, when we were there. And literally he did this I guess it was Monday or Tuesday in the meeting when I showed him how to, just told him just like you, and gave him the steps, and he set it up like the next day. And he had, I think it was 10 or 11 people on the call, and he walked away with 3 customers that he closed that next week after doing this on a Tuesday. It works. This is not theory, folks. This has been proven time and time again. And I just gave you the blueprint to build longevity and success, because if you continue to do this like once a month or every other week, you will close 2 or 3 customers a month. It's that easy, because you're leading and creating with value first. It's the same thing with your cold traffic targeting and your Facebook ads, your buy, sell, trade group, your email marketing, your organic social media. Heather, hey Heather, I am mostly booked for the next 60 days, and booking window is 30 to 60 days, and I'm going into shoulder season. When would you start Facebook ads? About 6 months ago. So start them today. Don't wait. I'm going to tell you something. Most people only advertise when they have a slowdown in their business. And I learned this from my Glow Golf business partner, Reg Booth, who had been advertising since the early 70s. He was the second franchisee into Pizza Hut in 1968. And a guy that taught me so much over, it's been the last 21 years that we've been in business together. And I remember when we launched Glow Golf, and when we first started on the West Coast in California, and we were in slow time waiting for Christmas, and everybody knows what happens at malls between Thanksgiving and New Year's. And I said, hey, we should probably do some advertising in September and October, going into Christmas. We just come off a summer season. He's like, no, why don't we wait till Thanksgiving and let's launch. We're going to do like some print media and actually some television for the very first time. He's like, let's start on Black Friday. And I'm like, whoa, isn't that going to be like super expensive? He's like, yes, but why would you want to advertise when people are not looking for your product or service? You should only spend money when people are looking for your product or service. You want the most eyeballs on your advertising, whether it's a TV station, radio, social media, whatever that is. And it made perfect sense. There's a reason people pay $1 gazillion to be in Super Bowl ads. There's a reason that prime time costs more than daytime on both radio and also in television. Drive time, like 7 to 8 a.m. and 5 to 6 p.m. is the most expensive on radio. There's a reason that advertising, outdoor billboards, urinal advertising, radio, television is more expensive in Los Angeles than it is in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. It's just the number of people. It's about the listenership. It's about that data. So you want to be live, Heather, just like I talked about the transition of going seasons, or your transition to fall. I started to transition to winter for most of my properties. I think I talked about this, maybe it was 2 Superhost Sundays ago, in June, as my calendar starts to get booked. And like when you're 30 to 60 days out, I want your marketing to start at least 100 before that, because if you're 30 to 60 days out, now we're 30 to 60 days out, we are right in that buying zone. We need way more lead time than that, right? Because we need multiple impressions. So honestly, right now is when fall and winter advertising should be running already. And then right after Christmas is when spring and summer advertising should be running. And if you're going to advertise something because you have, I don't know, a big, compression event or something like that. Like if you got Super Bowl or Taylor Swift coming to end her concert series at the end of the year, it needs to happen now. You got to understand that buying cycle when people are buying these things, right? So most of us wait too long to start advertising. Most of us wait too long for our pricing reductions, Chris. And, if you have a 60-day lead time, most of you don't even start lowering your pricing till 60 days. While your ultra premium pricing should be dissipated about 120 days, and it should scale down to where you are right in line around 80 or 85 days, not at day 60, if that's your average lead time. What is the best time to market on Facebook, Chris? All day, every day. All day, every day. You don't want to try to day part, is what it's called, and turn it on and turn it off. But what I will tell you, if you just do a quick Google search, you will see that the highest traffic on social media is usually between 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern time on a daily basis, right? And there are standard times to send emails, do Instagram posts, that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, ain't nobody got time to day part, and nobody here is good enough yet to really understand day parting and ads. So just turn them on all day, every day. When people are not working is the most viable time for any type of advertising.
Yeah, remember, it serves you
in the co-hosting masterclass for Helen, and just type in what it is on top of the link before you post it. Helen, Chris will drop that in for you. You can join that masterclass. It's really expensive. I think it's under $800. Is that right, Chris? I don't even know. It might even be under 600. I'm not sure. But you'll get my contracts, Helen. You'll get the business model. You'll get everything inside of that co-hosting masterclass. We are well over time, Chris. Anything else before we wrap up?
No, this is one of those where if you haven't, go back, watch it, take some notes on this one, because I think besides the high points they wanted to hit, there's 1,000 little things throughout that I think can move the needle for a lot of people. So don't sleep on this one. Go back, watch it if you need to watch it again, because there's a lot of little good things throughout the whole thing that can make a huge difference.
I agree. Helen had a question. I'll answer your question here in a second, Helen. But if you guys are watching this, please subscribe to the channel. There's way more valuable content on this channel that's coming out every single week outside than just Marketing Mondays. Just hit the subscribe button here on YouTube. Helen, here is something. Helen asked best lake. Helen, there is no best lake from a short-term rental standpoint, to be honest with you. But there are some parameters. So one thing that I think is super important is that you are below the Mason-Dixon line, just from a weather standpoint. I can assure you very few people are going to lakes outside of die-hard fishermen when it's cold outside. So it's during COVID, man. I remember, Chris, at, Paradise Point, and then even the first year of Sunset Point, I was like 80% occupancy during the winter. And I'm like, it's freezing down there. There were snowflakes sometimes in Alabama, and people are down there, but it's a different time now. Right? This is like back to 2016, 17, 18. Lakes are not year-round markets unless you are in Lake Okeechobee or something like that in Florida. I mean, even in Texas, and Arizona, it's not a year-round market. So just understand that going in. I think there's much better places to invest than being on lakes. And the next person will probably ask, well, Bill, why did you just convert a 7.6 into a 12.9 mega property that sleeps 38 people? Because of the marketing opportunities where it's positioned in between that market. I love Smith Lake, but most importantly, it's the biggest, most badass super property on that entire lake. There's nothing that exists around that. And because I take those 2 extra steps and do stuff that other people are unwilling to do, who in their right mind is going to go build a $2.5 to $3 million 12-bedroom property right now with the uncertainty of the economy? Nobody. That's part of my insulation right now. I know that people are going to be unwilling to do that because they are scared. Scared in the South means scared. So I do the things that other people are unwilling to do. And I can't emphasize that to wrap up Marketing Monday, folks. That is the most important part of my success, is that I will do the stuff that you are not willing to do. Do the stuff that your competitors are unwilling to do. That's what's going to give you the competitive advantage, whether it's working harder, whether it's working in the middle of the night, whether it's building something or buying something that people are unwilling to do. Think about that. I just built this property and turned it on while I was in Europe in July. And now, literally tomorrow, finally, it looks like closing on that Montana property, buying a $3 million property. I'm either going to go fucking bankrupt, Chris, or I'm going to hit some fucking home runs. And they're pretty well calculated out. I've already seen what's happened, at Smith Lake. So I think there's plenty of insulation to where I don't have to worry about going bankrupt. So take some risks, make sure you're educated and they're calculated, but do the things that other people are unwilling to do. We'll see you guys next Monday. Thanks for joining us on Marketing Monday. We'll be back next week. Hopefully you guys will as well.